Good morning. So this is Dr. Kannan from Changalpet, Tamil Nadu, India. This is in continuation of our thoughts on the ancient connection between Tamil Nadu, India, and the Far East, including Japan and Korea. The ancient connections between Tamil Nadu and China, Tamil Nadu and Vietnam, Tamil Nadu and Laos, Cambodia, Tamil Nadu and Thailand, Tamil Nadu and Indonesia, Tamil Nadu and Malaysia, Burma. All these things have been to a certain extent understood, whereas the Far East nations like Japan and Korea was never touched upon all these days. Only in the later 20th century, people started looking deeply into these connections. And when I landed in Japan sometime in 1985, I was really surprised to see the lots of similarities between the Indian culture and that of Japan. And people probably generalize that and saying that most Asians have similar value systems. I wonder, like, where do they get these value systems? From where it all started? For example, in Japan, you don't give the money with your left hand. Even in English, there is this, the left hand compliment. So right hand is something good. Okay, as you know, in the entire India, left hand is for something else. Left hand is not for any delicate etiquette things. And so in Japan also, if you give money, you have to give with your right hand, and there is a reason for that. In India, the wealth is associated with Lakshmi, the consort of Sriman Narayan, the ultimate Godhead. And so they believe that the money should be given with your right hand because that will lead to prosperity and a wholesome wealth will come to you. And so you should respect. That's in essential. That's it. You should respect the money and the wealth coming to you, and so you should handle that with your right hand. That's seen in Japan and in Korea as well. But the other most interesting thing is Professor Shanmugadas and his wife, Professor Dr. Manonmani Shanmugadas, have actually gone into this ancient poetry called Manyoshu, the 10,000 leaves. These are all beautiful poems of ancient Japan. And they were trying to see that how do they get these poems? And these poems are full of love, and the poems also talks about bravery. And Dr. Manonmani Shanmugadas has told me once that the Manyoshu cannot be understood without really understanding the Sangam literature of Tamil. The Sangam literature of Tamil was sometime between 300 BCE to 400 BCE, and a vast span of time, an ancient time period where probably these poems are one of the very rare collections of poems dating back to such a long time in past. And interestingly, Dr. Manonmani Shanmugadas explained to me that these poems are literally connected with the literature of Manyoshu. And then I thought that another striking resemblance is that the temples of Japan and the temples of Kerala. So Kerala was called once in Tamil Nadu as Chera. So the composition of ancient Tamilakam was Chera, Sora, and Pandya, these three kingdoms. And so strikingly, the temple structures are very similar, and even the samurai dress is modeled after a temple in Kerala. I was very surprised. Where do they get this architecture from? That one sees that in Korea as well. As I told you in the last talk, that the Todaiji temple in Nara has been built by the Korean artisans. So that's one of the finest structures in Japan. And so the structural elements plus the cultural elements. The Sangam poets consider the literary meaning of their existence into two ancient aspects called Aham and Puram. Aham poems are all about love. And A.K. Ramanujan has given the title like the poems of love and war, whereas the war comes. So the Puram is all about the wars, the bravery, okay? And but again, like in Puram, it's not that they were doing anything immoral. They were doing it righteously. So that righteousness, okay, which in Tamil we call aram, is extremely important. And for them, death is not a big thing at all. This is very much an essential part of Puram to understand that death is not a big thing at all for them. And so there were customs like Navakandam in Tamil, which means a person cutting himself into 9 portions, for the cause of something, maybe giving blood, seeing blood, and is considered as holy in those days, that will bring more prosperity and more victory for whatever cause they were doing. So a person will cut himself into 9 portions, all by himself, not by others, on his own will. If he could do that, okay, then that's called Navakandam. I thought that's gruesome, how can you do that? But that's what Puram is all about. They just don't care. The mindset is very important, and the righteousness, the moral behind your action is extremely important. And then I was watching on the other day a beautiful Hollywood film called Ron 47. And this Ron 47 is all about samurai culture. A white man wanted to be a samurai, which is extremely difficult. They don't accept anybody else. Samurai is a kind of a inbuilt culture, okay? Foreigners cannot walk in, okay? But this guy tries a lot to become a samurai. He wanted to be a samurai, okay? But it's a sad story because the samurai life is not easy. The samurai life is actually based on the values, based on the righteousness, based on what the Puram of Tamil literature is talking about. So ultimately what happens in that one is that they have to give their life. Not only this hero from the west, but the whole team, the clan of the samurai have to give their life to the king because the king has misunderstood them, And in that movie, they tell like we are born and again 10,000 times, So I'll born again. I mean, he fell in love with a beautiful Japanese girl, and he will tell her that I will come back to you. Okay, don't worry. This is only this life I'm giving up, and I will come back to you in another life. So the Puram revolves around the concept of birth and rebirth and reincarnation. So all these complicated things are involved in these sentiments, what you see. And I see a striking similarity between the Navakandam of the ancient Tamil culture and the harakiri of the Japanese. To do a harakiri is not easy at all. And so both are based on values, okay, your sentiments, and the righteousness, and your bravery, and which is plain Puram in ancient Tamil. We'll explore it further next time. Thank you for watching. This is Dr. Kannan from India.